How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and give this thing a test, the Twinsteer. It's kind of the same Twinsteer, but somebody's modded it and they've added, main thing is a large crane on the back, which is pretty cool. As for all the engine and that, I believe it's the top engine. I'll put the high range gearbox in. I haven't got the raised suspension yet because I'm only on my middle playthrough, and I'll get into it a bit later, but I had like a little bit of a... Well, I got blue screen basically, so I don't want to risk taking out my main playthrough. I just wanted to say quickly that I didn't have the all-wheel drive option because I've not gone to the Kola Peninsula, wherever it is. I was able to, sell the rear-wheel drive or whatever, and then do the purchase and press up on it. And I actually did buy the all-wheel drive, which is pretty cool because I was able to use that. Like I said, main thing, they've got a large crane on the back. And the other cool thing is at the back that you can add a saddle high or a saddle low. That plate you can see near the back of the Twinsteer, in real life, that actually folds out and then has a fifth wheel or saddle, whatever they want to call it. I mean, it's not been designed like that where it folds out in this case, but it's still cool that they've added it, because it's a pretty fun truck when you bang a trailer on it as well. Like, it's a pretty long truck. It's just like, imagine a road trailer these going along would be pretty cool. You can have all the usual trailers, which I believe you could have with the Twinsteer anyway, but yeah, all stuff like this. I was trying the 8-slot trailer earlier, that was pretty cool as well. In the end, I think this trailer was better because when you're driving along with the Twinsteer, it's pretty quick. Just quickly as well, I'm going to go and do that Fallen Powerline mission, so I'm just going to go to that warehouse, grab metal beams and concrete blocks, and then go to the Fallen Powerline. It was just an excuse to go and cruise around with this, really. With this trailer, like, the Twinsteer is pretty quick, but it's relatively narrow for what it is, and if you steer pretty hard around a corner, you can tip the Twinsteer pretty easily. With this trailer, the fact that it just sits nice and wide, sits wider than the Twinsteer, even when you get in like a bit of speed at that, as you turn into the corner, even if this kind of wants to tip, it's a lot harder for it to try and flip this trailer as well, so... And considering it's got the large crane on it as well, that obviously adjusts the centre of gravity a little bit. Overall though, it's a pretty good start. I actually motored through most of that mud better than I thought, considering I made it most of the way through in high range. And as I said, the only thing I'm not able to do, because I couldn't put the taller suspension on, I couldn't have the bigger tyres, but I don't think that would have made a hell of a lot of difference there. And yeah, the fact that it's got a large crane on it and this trailer, which is a pretty hefty trailer. It's a saddle high trailer. It used to be sort of like there's various special objectives that use that trailer basically, with like the big electricity boxes and all sorts on the back. I think there's one on this map you have to take to the drilling site. After that mud though, crawling up this hill, it was struggling a little bit, but I'm not really going to pin it down on this Twinsteer because I've had a few situations like that recently. It's almost as if you almost have like a clutch slipping element. I know it's not that, and that it probably has nothing to do with that. It's just my way of sort of explaining it. Like, when I've noticed it in the last month or so, when you're going up some hills with a heavy trailer and all the rest of it, you can just find a certain rev point where it kind of puts the revs in, but you just don't see any action from your wheels. They just kind of lock up in place. Like I said, in real life, it's a little bit like what could be the case if your clutch starts slipping instead. I don't think clutch is really a thing in this game or anything anyway, so I don't know, maybe it's just a bit of a flat spot, a bit of an awkward spot really. All I did was kind of let the throttle off, re-revved it, and it started to slowly sort of wind up again, and we got going, and that was about the only issue. This thing's actually as well pretty nice to drive when you got the trailer. The trailer adds a nice bit of weight that's kind of, not only does it stop you tipping around the corners, but I think because the trailer's just a lump of weight that is sat on the back, I don't know, it kind of stops you juddering around as much. It kind of stabilises you a little bit. One odd thing I did notice, not necessarily a bad thing because I don't really care at this point, the fact that the options there is probably better than not. When I chose the concrete blocks, I was able to put them on like the back of the Twinsteer inside the crane. In the end, I deleted them and I just put it all on the trailer, just for the sake of it. I didn't know when I was driving along. It could have started glitching and freaking out, but as I say, I'm not really bothered either way. I've got the trailer, so I'll use it. But I suppose if you ever were in a situation where you needed to, if I had the 8-slot trailer, I got at least 2 concrete blocks on the Twinsteer then, so there's 10 lots even in this, and then really you could theoretically get another Twinsteer with another 8-slot trailer and winch it to the back of this, so you could have like a 20-slot road train on the go, which now I've just mentioned it, I'm sure I'll have to attempt at some point. Still need to do a 24 loaf road train as well, but it takes longer than you think sticking even 12 loaves on a trailer, let alone ramming 2 trailers full. I mean, it's probably worth the effort, but I'll, yeah, too busy jumping around trying all the different mods at the minute. One thing I do want to mention about this though, and I don't know how specific it is just to this or anything, it's a heads up, it happened, so yeah, after I played around with this, I went on the proving grounds first, messed around with it for a little while, it was fine, no issues. When I loaded back up to the main screen, at some point I got blue screen, so it kind of kicked me back out of the game, loaded the game back up. That's when I then bought it and came onto this middle playthrough. That's partly why I didn't want to go on my main playthrough, just in case. And yeah, messed around with it on here for a good little while again, did this mission, drove around, I'll do a few things later on. No issues whatsoever, sold it all back and everything, recovered to the main menu, and then just out of curiosity I tried to load up my newest playthrough that I created the other week when mods came out. And yeah, it basically did the thing where it doesn't load the map up, it just was like stuck in an infinite loop of just the Black River screen, and yeah, never loaded. So then I held the PS button, clicked close application, and after a little while of trying to close, not long, it then basically blue screen brought up, I can't remember the code, it's like CE048 something. I believe it was the same code as the first time, and then yeah, again, send report or whatever, loaded the game back up, and then before it let me press X so I can, you know, pick like continue, new game, etc, etc, it brought up saying my save data has been corrupted and I need to restore it. It's done that to me a couple of times before on some of the other mods. Yeah, click restore, took 5-10 seconds, and that was it. It loaded the game back up as normal, all my save files were fine. I loaded one of the save files, I think the first one again, just to make sure, and yeah, so like I said, I had that, I believe, with the M181, like Super Bruce I've been calling him. Yeah, I had it happen with that, and I had it happen with another mod as well, so it wasn't the end of the world. I didn't really panic as much this time because I've seen it happen before. Yeah, it all seemed fine, but I'm just saying it did blue screen me twice over the night, like, and yeah, it possibly could be related to this. So anyway, yeah, back to this now. I mean, it's got the top engine, that was the only choice of engine, which is not a bad thing. Theoretically, it'd be cool if there was a bit of an option for more power, not crazy amounts, but maybe just another little 20% or something. They've removed the front bumper off it as well as like a base option. You can go and put various front bumpers back on it, which, yeah, is another cool idea. Again, it shows you that they've driven this thing around, they know what, like, the case is with it. The front bumpers do stick out quite a lot on this, and because its turning circle overall is pretty massive because it's a pretty long truck, yeah, when you're in full lock mode, like, your front end does sort of swing quite a lot, and with that bumper sticking out, it did actually, like, I know it specifically from driving the Twinsteer myself, that multiple times I've caught the bumper on stuff that it was like, if the bumper wasn't there, I would have made it past the gap or whatever and wouldn't have had to do like a multi-point turn. So it's pretty cool that they've done that as an option. As I said, you can go and bang another front bumper back on if you want to, but it's just, yeah, completely gone as standard. And yeah, overall, I mean, with the engine power, it just sits quite nice. Actually, I had sort of quite a nice time driving this thing, and it's nice that it's got the crane, especially the big one as well, because those little ones are just a bit weak for their own good most of the time anyway, especially that the Twinsteer is pretty long as well. The small crane, like, would probably barely be able to reach its own back end, and if it could, it'd probably struggle to be lifting stuff by then. Yeah, this crane is certainly a bit more meaty. It can at least lift scouts and everything with no issues. I tested it a little later with scouts and trucks just to see what it could lift. That crane that's on the wrecker, like the heavy wrecker, like the wrecker body on the back with its own crane, that's still the best crane. That's still the daddy at the minute. That thing lifts collobs off the floor and all sorts. I don't know if the guy sort of custom built that crane from the ground up, but it certainly, yeah, this is like, you can tell it's just the large crane from the other truck, which is not a bad thing. It's cool. Like, this, out of all of them, to be honest, is the crane I use the most often. I usually got the P12 at the minute with the crane on the back, but yeah, somebody said to me a little while ago that the American crane is a little bit better than the Russian crane, like the large yellow one, and after messing around with them, I do agree. Oh, not by much, but I think there is a little bit in it. And to be honest, it's with the small cranes as well. The American crane is longer. You've got more reach with it and stuff. So I'm not really sure why, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, got that mission done, no issues. Wasn't really ever gonna be too much of a struggle, but it was nice to see how this thing actually handles pulling a trailer along behind it. And considering it has got still a stock engine, even though it is the best of the engines you can normally get, yeah, it just shows this thing already had a decent amount of power. And it's funny because a few people have said to me since mods, like, you know, should I get mods, or I don't really want to, I don't know, they don't want to make the base trucks feel more boring by comparison, which I understand, and to a degree, there's no doubting that with some of the mods it makes the, yeah, the stock trucks seem boring and underpowered, but the truth is, some of the base trucks are boring and underpowered, whether you've got mods or not. That's just unfortunately the case that it is with some of them. This is a good example, the Twinsteer, even just a normal stock one. It already has got a pretty decent bit of power, and yeah, this mod is not so much a truck mod as more like an options mod. They've not really had to do a whole lot with the truck, just add more things, which again is cool. I don't know why they didn't do this in the first place in game. As I said, I suppose really PC mods have been around, I assume, since the start of the game, so maybe from their point of view there's never been as much need. I suppose it's a gap in the market that it gives modders the chance to fill. That's what she said. So yeah, it's probably, that's maybe why it worked out that way. Obviously for us on PlayStation, they've been waiting ages for a lot of stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of trucks that could have done with more customization options. I'm surprised as well I've not seen a Derry 4520 in the modded section yet, because that's just, yeah, one of those trucks that you would think is kind of crying out to be modded in some shape or form. Although I think we're getting the mods based on how popular they are or something, so I'm sure on the actual PC mod page there's, yeah, shitloads, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, yeah, when I got back to the yard, just wanted to test the crane. I mean, it lifts the loaf like normal, fully extended and everything. It was no issues. And then I went to try the Western Star, which, yeah, it's definitely a truck, so it's heavier. But I know it isn't that heavy. I picked the Western Star in the end. It was one of the few trucks I had, but I could have bought others. I tried it out on flooded foothills not too long ago when we were originally able to pack trucks. And I ended up, it was a bit iffy, but I kind of got it on the trailer in the end. I think in the end I lifted the front up and then kind of winched itself and drove itself onto there. And yeah, as you can see now, basically when I lifted it from the back, its nose would stay on the floor and I could lift it upright. Pretty much the same when I turned it round. Eventually though, if I hoovered the crane in like and tried to retract it so it was as vertical as possible, at some point it actually did let me start extending the crane and lift this what's it called, Western Star 49X off the ground. So, but it didn't last very long. As soon as I moved forward a bit, you can see now, and right now I'm trying to lift the crane up and just the weight of the truck is pulling it down. So yeah, again, it's a little bit like the crane did on the heavy wrecker. Like the piston just can't handle it and it starts dropping, but it is what it is. It's certainly a good enough crane that you can do all the usual bits and bobs with it. Yeah, as well, you can reach fairly far down the trailer when you're straight on, but you can always reverse and do a kink in the trailer like that, so you can actually reach all sections of the trailer. And yeah, last but not least, because while I was here, while in Rome, stick a loaf in the air, an emergency deployment loaf. Yeah, I thought I'd give it a go with a Bandit. I've not tried it with a Bandit before, still not a big fan of this truck really. Although this version is more stock. But of course, goddamn horse of a vehicle, he made it. You can always rely on a professional that's officially emergency deployed. He's having a little peek over the roof. Yeah, look, these custom muds. It's just horrifically bad. As soon as you touch mud, it's like, what the hell? I'll be better off with, I don't know, things that probably aren't even round would make it onto the list of stuff that could get through mud better than these custom muds. Although JBE's custom muds were bloody great when I had them on the Lodestar, so I don't know, he's figured it out. I don't know why I don't know why SnowRunner can't figure it out, just make them work. Yeah, anyway, that's about it though. I mean, it is a pretty cool mod. It's certainly an improvement to this thing. More options, more choice. It's pretty cool with the trailers. Just be wary of that bug though, maybe test it on the proving grounds if you're not sure. But yeah, I'd say it's worth getting. And that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.